All right, let's just jump right in, because we're looking at one of the biggest, strangest puzzles of our time. We've got more ways to connect with each other than ever before in history, right? And yet, we're in the middle of a massive loneliness crisis, and it's hitting the connected generation the hardest. We're talking about folks born between 1995 and 2010. They grew up online, totally plugged in, but so often, they're feeling completely alone.
And that leads us to the huge, kind of confusing question we're going to unpack here. How can a generation that's known for being constantly connected also feel so incredibly isolated? I mean, it doesn't seem to make sense, but the science and the data, well, they tell a pretty wild story.
So let me just throw a number at you. 80%. Just think about that for a second. That's not a small chunk, not a few people. That's a huge, overwhelming majority. But what is this 80% about?
And here it is. 80% of teenagers say that the very apps and platforms built to bring them together are actually making them feel more lonely. Wow, that's not just some weird coincidence. That is a clear sign that something about the way we connect online is, well, it's fundamentally broken.
Okay, so why is this happening? What's the deal? Well, researchers have some ideas. We're going to dig into 3 key theories that really help peel back the layers on this whole paradox. This is kind of the science behind why we feel so separate.
So first up, we've got something called media dependency theory. And the basic idea here is that we've started to count on apps and websites for our basic human needs, for feeling informed, for being entertained, and even for emotional support. We've kind of become dependent on these screens to feel okay. And the irony is, that can make us forget about the real-world stuff that actually fills us up.
Next up is the displacement hypothesis, and honestly, this one is super simple to understand. It's basically a zero-sum game. Every single hour you spend scrolling through a feed is an hour you are not spending face-to-face with a friend or your family or just, another human being. This creates a huge emotional gap, a real deficit in the meaningful in-person moments we need to be happy.
And that ties perfectly into our third idea, social capital theory. This one is so important because it reminds us that, hey, not all friendships are created equal. It's not just about how many friends or followers you have, it's about the quality of those connections.
So here's the key difference. You've got bonding capital. Think of this as your inner circle, your crew, the people you can call at 3 a.m. Then you've got bridging capital. These are your weaker ties, the acquaintances, the thousands of online followers. And here's the thing, social media is an amazing machine for building up that bridging capital, but it really struggles to build the deep, meaningful bonding capital that actually keeps loneliness away. Okay, so we've got the theories explaining the why, but here's the kicker. This isn't just happening by accident. It's actually baked into the technology itself. Yeah, the very design of these platforms is meant to shape our behavior, and a lot of the time it's pushing for engagement over any kind of real human connection.
I mean, if you just look back, you can see how it all shifted. It started with stuff like MySpace, which was all about, customizing your own page. Then came Facebook, which focused on your network of friends. But then things really changed. We moved into the like economy of Instagram, and now we're in the world of TikTok, where it's not even about your friends anymore. It's about an algorithm feeding you content it thinks will keep you glued to the screen.
And this whole evolution has just poured gasoline on FOMO, the fear of missing out. We all know this feeling, right? That little anxious voice in your head telling you that somewhere out there, other people are having more fun, and you're not there. Social media is like a 24/7 highlight reel of all the cool stuff you're missing.
But here's the really toxic part about FOMO. It doesn't actually make you want to connect more. No, it just traps you in this endless loop of comparison. You're constantly stacking your real life up against someone else's perfectly curated online life. And that just makes you feel inadequate and, funny enough, even more isolated.
And the platforms are built this way on purpose. They have what you could call an architecture of compulsion. The like economy? That just puts a number on your social worth. The algorithms? They lock us into our own little echo chambers. And things like stories that disappear? They create this urgency that makes you feel like you have to check in, or you'll miss out. It's all one giant reward loop designed to keep you hooked, not to help you connect.
So look, this isn't just about feeling kind of bummed out or wasting time on your phone. We need to start seeing this for what it is, a full-blown public health crisis. The real-world consequences are serious, they're measurable, and frankly, they're pretty scary.
I mean, just look at this data. It's staggering. Again, 80% of teens link social media directly to feeling more lonely. More than half spend more time online than they do with actual people, and almost half say they feel lonely all the time. These aren't just numbers on a chart, this is a generation in pain.
And the hit to self-esteem is just as bad. You can look at study after study across all different kinds of people, college kids, high schoolers, and the pattern is exactly the same. The more time spent on social media, the lower the self-esteem. The evidence is it's overwhelming.
And listen, this is so serious that even the US Surgeon General is sounding the alarm. He's saying that real social connection isn't just a nice to have. It is absolutely critical for our health, for our safety, for everything. And we're losing it.
Get this. This is the part that really blows my mind. Public health experts now say the health risks of being socially isolated are on the same level as smoking up to 15 cigarettes a day, or being obese. That is how serious this has become. It is a real threat to our bodies and our minds. Okay, that was a lot. And it sounds pretty grim, right? But it's not all doom and gloom. There is a way forward. It's not about throwing our phones in the ocean. It's about, recalibrating our relationship with technology and finding a healthier path. So, what's the game plan? Well, it's kind of a three-part attack. First, education. We need to start teaching kids and ourselves about digital wellness and emotional strength. Second, design. We've got to pressure these big tech companies to build platforms that actually put people first, not just their attention. And third, policy. We have to treat social isolation like the public health emergency it is and respond in a big, coordinated way.
So at the end of the day, it all comes down to this one big question for all of us. Are we going to keep trading real, deep intimacy for the quick, easy hit of online immediacy? Or can we figure out how to use these powerful tools to find our way back to what truly matters, that messy, wonderful, and absolutely essential thing we call human connection? That's the question we all need to answer.